Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us today here on Audrey Live. I am at a different location. I am actually down in Kingsville at my mom's place. So we are bringing Audrey Live to you kind of on location, I guess, so to speak. So it's a little bit different in the background here. So we're really looking forward to having the show today and just updating you on some things that are going on. Again, today is Thursday, July 8th, and the summertime is here. Sorry for the glare. I see now I have a glare on my glasses, so we'll have to deal with that a little bit. The summertime is here, and so many things that people are out and about and starting to do a little bit of camping and getting out and having time with family. So it's just a really nice, joyful time for that, for sure. Today we have Judy Westegaard-Jenkins on the show, and I'm so excited. I've known Judy for many years, and she's just a very talented, amazing person, and we're just so glad to have her on the show today. She'll be demonstrating her chalk it up techniques to use with decorative painting and stenciling, so I'm really looking forward to that as well. During the show, please make sure you say where you're from. We'd love to see where everybody's from and that you're watching. And if you have any questions along the way of Judy or myself, just put those in there and we hope to answer them during the show. Otherwise, we'll make sure we get to you after the show. And if you miss any of the shows, you can always go and see a lot of our past shows on our YouTube channel, which is Pin It Canada. So you just go to YouTube, put in Pin It Canada, and all their shows are there. So anyway, it's been a while. As many of you know, I have not been on Audrey Live for over a month. We've had a very difficult couple of months here with our family. My grandson, my 5-year-old grandson, Micah, has been ill and was diagnosed with a brain tumor on June 8th. And he had surgery on June 14th to remove the tumor, and he is still in hospital going through physiotherapy treatments, and will be starting radiation treatments. So that has been a very difficult time for my daughter and son-in-law and the rest of the family. We're just constantly in prayers and focused on trying to get Micah better. And so we're just staying positive, and I just want to thank everybody as well for their prayers. I have so many people that have commented or have sent me cards or just, encouragement, and I really thank everybody so much for that. Also, on June 10th, so 2 days after Micah was diagnosed, my father passed away of a massive heart attack. It was very sudden. He hadn't been ill. Him and my mom were just in the kitchen making lunch, and like she says, he just fell. And so that was difficult as well, and still is. There's so much that goes with the mourning process, and so I just want to, again, thank everybody for all your thoughts and prayers and support during this time, and being patient with me. There's so much going on in our business as well right now, and just thank you for your patience and sometimes waiting an extra week or 2 or 3 to get something, and definitely will be getting back in the office on a little bit more of a full-time basis over the next couple weeks. So yeah, and with that, we also had our first Art Waves Live virtual online event. That was June 24th to the 27th, and it was amazing. We had 14 fantastic teachers who really went above and beyond and brought just amazing classes to the students. And it was a great experience. It was the first time we'd ever done it, and I wasn't quite sure how it was going to be and if we were going to have any issues. We used Zoom for all the classes, and it was just incredible. We had great response along the way, and yeah, just afterwards too, so many of the students said that was amazing. It was just so nice to be engaged with all these other students and with the teacher, and also, the teacher, like they said, everybody had a front row seat, and that was kind of neat that you could see the piece full on the screen. You weren't, like 10 feet, 20 feet from the teacher at the front of the class. So that was really nice as well, that people enjoyed that experience. and just being in a room, a virtual room with other people. They got to know people from all over the place, not just the person sitting beside them. So there are some advantages to virtual events for sure. So that being said, oh, and we also had our 25th anniversary party. It's 25 years of us doing shows this year. So we had a 25th anniversary event throughout the show as well. And a lot of that, we did make and takes, and we did some demonstrations and that sort of thing. But we also did a bit of a shortened version of it with a slideshow of the last 25 years, and that is posted on all of our websites, or not websites, Facebook pages, and it will be on our YouTube channel. Maybe we should put it on our website. I didn't think about that. I think we can do that too. So, so many of you that have been to the shows over the year, you might want to take the time to watch the video. There's just pictures from, you know, years and years from when we started right to now. So it's kind of a neat experience to see all the different teachers we've had over the years, and a lot of the memories, the amazing memories that we've had as well. So that was really nice to have. So I think we're going to get right to our guest right now, because I'm excited to bring her on. Judy Westegaard-Jenkins, she's our live guest. She's a CDA and has worked professionally as an artist, art director, licensed designer for the craft and gift industry, and as a company spokesperson and educator in the arts. Her work has been published in numerous magazines with over 25 books and videos to her credit. She offers a variety of painting patterns, packets, as well as Zoom webinars. We're doing the Zoom webinars. Judy's artwork, especially her holiday designs, can be found in many private collections, as well as in the International Museum of the Society of Decorative Painters, the Library of Congress, the White House, the Smithsonian Institute, and in several presidential libraries. Wow, that is quite the resume for sure. She received the CDA designation from SDP in 1983. Judy's most current work is a mixture of decorative art and fine art, cooperating unusual background textures, embellishments, and a variety of other experimentations. Hello, Judy. Thank you for joining us.
How are you?
Good.
It looks like you see my project instead of me. So
yes.
Let's see if I can rectify that.
Just have to do the old switcheroo, and I did set it up so that there we go.
There we go.
Oh, there you are.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Now you got a different camera. There.
Apparently my camera has come disconnected. Well, I guess I'll talk this way instead. So
that's what's so nice about it. It's just very casual. So it just
trust me, it's casual. If you could see what everything looked like from here on down, I'm kind of like that duck that looks so nice floating on water, and underneath he's paddling like all get outs, because it's just a disaster. I counted this morning, I had 17 unfinished pieces sitting on the floor of my studio, and my studio is not very big, so I just have a little path to walk through. But first of all, hi everybody, and thanks Audrey for having me here.
Oh, it's a pleasure. I'm so glad that you're with us here today. So, and to share all your amazing talents, and just looking at the Santas in the back. I know I've painted a couple of yours, and that's kind of I collect Santas, so I just love to paint Santa. So I'm so excited that you're actually doing.
I have quite a few, and I have a Santa, which you saw a sneak preview already that I've been playing with.
Yeah.
Last night, I thought, what am I going to do for this demo? And I thought, you know what? People know me for Santas, and they know me for chalking. So I've started doing a few techniques with my Santa beards with chalking. So I thought, perfect. Absolutely perfect today. I get some work done while I'm talking on the internet.
Exactly. Multitasking, right?
Right.
So maybe you can tell us a little bit of background about yourself. Like, when did you actually start into creative painting, decorative painting as a career?
Okay. About 12 hours after the first class that I took, I started doing the business. Actually, I started painting when I was living in Storm Lake, Iowa. I had a very ill child with asthma, and she was in the hospital more from her first birthday to her second birthday than she was at home. And she's fine now. 45 years later, I'm still painting. And my doctor said, you need to do something for yourself, because if you don't, you're going to have a nervous breakdown. Well, the next weekend, my sister-in-law showed me all these wonderful basswood browns that she had painted with Dorothy Steffens, who was the wife of the man who founded Viking Folk Art Publications and Viking Woodcrafts. And she was literally teaching painting on a card table in her basement.
Wow.
So I saw those and I thought, I'll check out a decorative painting, or a toll painting as it was called at the time. Took a class, found a lovely instructor by the name of Audrey. And Audrey Bettine is the gal that many of you might remember from a business called Pigmentations. And Beth Wagner bought her business a few years back. But I started painting with Audrey. I was so excited after my first class. I came home, I stayed up till 2 a.m. finishing my project, and had all of my neighbor ladies over the next morning and let them use my supplies. I mean, we had one brush for about 4 people, sat around the kitchen table. So I started teaching before I knew what I was doing. But I credit that for becoming a really good teacher, because I had to learn, I had to be able to express myself and what I had learned the night before to all my friends.
Wow.
So, and it's interesting how it filters down. My teacher, Audrey Bettine, saw a little spark in me, and she said, why don't you come along to a class with Ann Kingsland in Omaha? And I did, and that started me on a whole different path of learning. And there, in some of my first classes in Omaha, I ran into a gal by the name of Sherry Roll.
Oh, wow.
And she was a fairly new beginner painter as well. I had a good friend in Storm Lake, Iowa by the name of Anita Curry, who came over and started painting with me at home. And she started pouring porcelain and had a porcelain business for many years in the decorative painting industry. And unfortunately, she's passed away. But my pathway just came across so many different people at the right time. I started in the industry because I had been taking classes. By then, I had moved to Illinois, and I was taking classes locally, and I belonged to the Illinois Prairie Painters. I took a class with Peggy Caldwell, the founder of the Delta Force. And Peggy also saw something in me, and she had a friend by the name of Judy Martin, who owned Illinois Bronze Paint Company. Judy needed someone to demonstrate at what was then called the Matcha Show.
Oh.
And it was held in the Merchandise Mart in Chicago. I lived just shortly outside of Chicago. Anyway, Peggy recommended me. I came in and taught for a day at her booth. At the end of the day, I was talking to the chemist, and he said, where are you from? And I said, well, I'm originally from Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I lived in Brookings, South Dakota for a while. And he put his arm around me and he said, I graduated from South Dakota State University in Brookings. I said, in chemistry? He said, no, biochemistry. And I said, I worked in the biochemistry lab for 3 years under all the professors he had studied with. And then he said, he looked at the owner of the company and said, you need to hire this girl right now because she's got good Midwestern work ethic. And that's how my foot got in the door in the industry. I worked for them for 8 years. I went home with a job that afternoon.
Wow.
And it just snowballed. I was very fortunate to come across lots of people that recognized I had some ability and wanted to see me succeed and put me in the right place at the right time. So
that's perfect.
It's been quite a wild ride.
Yeah. Perfect. Also, what are some of the products like you like to play with? Like, what is your main oils, acrylics?
Ooh,
Are you
that's
kind of a little
really,
bit of everything? You dabble in a little bit of everything, or
I think it depends on the day of the week.
okay?
I was schooled initially in oil painting, and I attribute that to my knowledge of color because we
Oh,
started out with about 6 tubes of oil paint and we mixed everything. Then I painted in oils for probably 5 years until I went to a distributor open house. It was let's see, the name of it was Hares in Danville, Illinois. And I came across my first acrylics. And those were Delta acrylics, and they were taught to me by Mary Jane Todd.
oh wow.
And at that at that show, I met many other people, and one was Joyce Beebe, and she was coming there to teach. And I signed up and I took a class from her. About 2 weeks later, I took a class from Bonnie Seaman, and that one was in oils. But the acrylics really intrigued me because at the time we were told by the powers that be, if you painted in acrylics, it wasn't oil painting. Well, they took that crystal ball and looked 20 years ahead. I think everybody would change their mind.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and I pretty much really in earnest started working in acrylics almost full time. I think the last thing I did in oils in the decorative painting industry was in the early 90s. I did an oil video. And then after I moved to Canada, I started in oils again with a fine artist and have done a little teaching in oils again. It's my first love.
Yeah, yeah,
But when I really need to design and need to design quickly, I come back to my acrylics.
yeah.
But I use all my color sense, all my brush control, everything I learned in oils with acrylics.
Well, you have a really good eye for color because I know you had been posting on Facebook quite a bit of the. So I kind of figured you started out in oils and the mixing of the colors because I mean you can come up with that color equation, so to speak. Very easy.
Yes.
I don't know if it's an easy process, but you have a very good eye for color, obviously.
Thank you. I've always had a good eye for color. I even think I had a good eye for color when I was a kid. I grew up on a farm and we had a very simple small farmhouse, and I didn't have a room of my own until I was in 6th grade. I either slept in the corner in my mother's room or I slept on a sofa bed. When my brother went to college, I got his room. And the first thing I wanted to do was to paint those dingy gray walls color. And then my mother thought, oh, what have I, kind of a monster have I created? Because then I had to have matching bedspread. I wanted matching curtains. It just snowballed. I love color. Then I got into makeup in junior high and all the color that comes with that. And
Yeah, yeah.
painting was just a perfect thing for me to get involved with.
Perfect, perfect. Well, let's get to your demo. You're going to demo the chalk it up technique. So maybe we'll flip you over and I'll.
Okay, and I will go to my other camera. Did we make the trip?
We did. We're there now. Perfect.
Wonderful.
And I'll keep an eye on the Facebook, see if anybody has any questions for us.
Okay, sounds good. I have a couple things I want to show you first that I couldn't put on the wall behind me, but I have lots of things that I have done with chalk. And this piece that I'm going to put in front was on the cover of the Decorative Painter magazine several years back. It's, I think I called it Joyful Refrain. All of this edging and all the lettering is all done with a chalk pencil. And I simply trace my pattern onto tracing paper and transfer it over to my surface with white graphite paper. And then I start chalking with a chalk pencil. Here is another piece. This was in a book several years ago. I better hold that at an angle. I love the drama of Black backgrounds, so I'm really attracted to this technique. Of course, my bird is painted. I have some mixed media cut out leaves here, but all the background, all of this is done with a chalk pencil. So not difficult. I even did my, the lettering that was used on my book, Chalk It Up. I did it on a piece of wood and sent to the photographer for them to take a picture of it to put onto my book. Again, all my lettering. Now, this was before there was a lot of lettering online that you could find. So I looked at different fonts and pretty much did my own. And if you see a lot of my work, like this work, that's my handwriting. It just tickles me because as much as I try to emulate somebody else, I go back to what I learned in grade school. So today I'm working on a clipboard that I got at the dollar store. A great little find for $1, $1.50. And I've started painting a Santa, and I want to show you, I did the hat on the Santa with chalk as well. And I put my lettering on. I just freehanded mine to get it to where I wanted, what I wanted to look like. And of course, for you, you could easily take the pattern, trace it, and transfer it on. But you can see I have lots of little smudges here and there, and I don't worry about those because if I ever have something on my piece that I don't like, I just take it off with a little bit of water because that's the beauty of chalk. Chalk comes off. Now, I have several little tools I like to use. I really only recommend general pencils, charcoal white pencil, and these cost about a couple dollars. It's number 558. It's white, it's charcoal white, and they do come in other colors. You usually have to buy them in a set. Mine are all in really tough shape. I don't think I even have one that has the logo on the side because I go through these so often. But I like to have several on hand. Here's one with a really sharp point. This one, not quite as sharp. And then I have some that are dull. And I always have a couple sitting there so I can use whatever one I need at a given moment. I also like this little sew line trio. This is a sewing product that came into the decorative painting market, and it has a white lead, it has a regular pencil, and it has a stencil tip on it. So this is really a handy little tool to use for lots of things. I love it for fine lettering when I have this little white pencil at the, or the white chalk at the end, and you can get refills for it. I also, another tool you want to have is a see-through ruler. You can see mine is pretty old and beat up, but I use that when I want to do any freehand borders on the outside edge. You also need good erasers. This is a kneaded eraser, and I use that for removing lines. As you can see, that came right off there. I also have, Tombow has a series of markers. Here's one that I like really well. It's a little square. It's not quite 1/4 inch across. I can use the corners. I can get in and use it wherever I need to erase something. But let's go ahead, and I'm going to show you a couple things that I do. I use when I've got a really sharp pencil, I want to use it straight up and down, and I do a scribbling motion, little tiny overlapping circles. And this is a good way to fill in an area. I also do cross hatching. I can simply write with it. I can take and I can move it around with this little item. This is the small foam detailer, the IPC 8 from Dynasty. I love these. They're foam at the end, much like something you might put eye makeup on with. You could also use a Q-tip, but I can use this for smudging if I want to work an area really soft, or I can clean the edge up. Okay, I want to show you how I did my Santa hat. Now, on my Santa hat, I used a little bit of shading on the edge of the brim. Here, I'm going to show you all I did was I went scribble, scribble, scribble all over. I hate the sound of chalk on a blackboard, and that's what you're hearing now and then. But I'm simply working on a piece of wood that's painted black, black acrylic. I don't like to use chalkboard paint for painting. I've had a little trouble with it bleed through. It's great on a furniture piece, but for decorative painting, I really prefer just to use good old, plain old black acrylic paint. Now, what happens if I get this wet? It's going to come off. So there are two ways I have. If I wanted it just like this, I would spray it with a product called Krylon Workable Fixative. This is available in Michael's. It's available in most great art stores. And I would simply spray this. I would hold it at about 8 inches away, a little bit at an angle from my piece, and lightly spray it. And that fixes the chalk in place so that the chalk doesn't move around. Now, this is what I've been experimenting with lately. I'm really late to the party, but everybody has been telling me I needed to try Josania's fast drying glaze medium. And I love it because I'm one that paints in a lot of layers, but I found out that I could take a filbert brush and a little bit of fast drying glaze medium, and I'm not going to drag this across my work. I'm going to pat it here and there, and it starts to move my chalk around a little bit, and I get a fun background look. Many of you know me for making my smushy dot backgrounds. And so I wanted to try just something a little different. And I was really pleased with this. I'm sorry, you've got a bit of a glare. I don't know
It
if
looks
I
good. And it's funny because I was thinking, so how are you going to seal that chalk? Because to me, yeah, you put chalk on and all of a sudden you get a little bit of moisture in there and it's gone. So
yes,
that is
exactly
awesome.
So I would only do this where I wanted a mottled matte effect. If I want nice precise lines, I'm going to go ahead and use my regular workable fixative spray. But anyway, you can see I played with this. I'll pull them up a little closer to the camera. You can see that whole background was done with chalk to give that mottled look, a little softer look. Now, when I chalk, I always like to have guidelines here. I'm going to use my pencil that's pretty sharp, and you want to be careful that you don't get your hand smearing your work. So I simply fold a soft paper towel in fourths so that my hand can rest on that, and then I also don't get any body oils onto that. It's also a good thing not to put hand lotion on right before you're going to chalk, because it can really cause problems for you. So I'm just going to fill in the letters. I put on either side of the horizontal letter. I just put both edges on, and you can see it goes pretty fast. Now I can do the same thing with a stencil, and I do have a line of stencils out that Patty Rawlinson carries at creativeartslifestyle.com. In fact, I think she has some of them on sale right now, lots of Christmas things. Now, when I want to get a nice fine line, I try to go up and down as much as possible. Notice my chalking is fairly even. And I love when one thing falls behind another. So I hadn't given a lot of thought when I painted my Santa face as to what sort of a saying I was going to put on this. So I was scrambling this morning and thought, okay, what kind of Christmas songs are out there that maybe haven't been used? And all I could think of was one of the songs where you better not cry, you better not pout, and Santa Claus is coming to town. And I believe this is in one of the verses, and it says, be good for goodness sake. And I think this is a good saying for us to think, not only for Christmas, but for all year round, or anytime we go on social media. We need to remember we need to be good for goodness sake.
So true, so true. A couple of questions
Sure.
quickly. One was Anne McIntyre was asking, where can you find that fast growing medium?
Okay. In the United States, you can get it at Hofcraft, from Chroma, from Joe Sonia's website carries it. I got this one in Canada from, let's see, from Country Bear. So it's available in both countries. And this is an older label. There's an updated, newer label now, but it's good stuff. You can use, with our regular, normally I use the regular clear glaze medium that DecoArt has out in their Traditions line, but you should only use about 3 coats of that a day. Well, you can use as much of the fast drying medium as you want every day. And so I really do appreciate it. It's good. And the person who recommended it to me was Peggy Harris. So, okay, now I've got my G just about finished. I could choose, if I wanted to, I could paint these green for a holly leaf and then chalk on top. But I think today, for the sake of time, I'm just going to fill this in. And because I want to see that little vein line, I'm just going to leave a little bit of black background showing through.
Now, also, Kathy has asked, what brush do you use with the glazing medium?
I used this old scruffy filbert, and I pat it and it takes a little getting used to, because you might just wipe it all off. So practice on a scrap of something else with that brush, really light pressure. Now, I would never use a brush on top of this. I would only spray this, because I would have too many chances of having this bleed onto the background. Now, one thing that you can do, if you make a little mistake and you're scared to wipe it off with a little bit of water on the end of a brush, you can just take a little bit of your black paint and go right on that background to clean it up. So you can see it doesn't take a lot of time to fill in an area. As soon as I finish filling in this letter, I'm going to show you another trick. If you want something that doesn't have quite as grainy of a look. Okay. Now, see, I've got a little spot right there that I'm not really fond of. I want to get rid of that little line. I'm just going to come in with clean water, and you always need to use freshly clean water, and I'll work at that until I get rid of that little line. Okay, now, if I want a softer look on my chalk, I'll come in with this small foam detailer, and I just rub it right over my chalking. And see the difference that makes? It really becomes soft. What happens, though, Many times when you're doing this, you might smudge that chalk a little bit. And sometimes a smudge looks okay. Other times it's just simply looks messy. Okay, look at the difference from this. I'll hold this closer. From this area to this area. This is definitely much grainier. So if I need to clean that up, I'm going to use that little medium point blend, and I can go right along the edge and clean up smudges. It comes to a nice fine point. Now, I want to give you one other tip on what I do with my Santa beards. I'm going to use the same brush and a little bit of white paint, and I'm going to just run a few lines of the beard down on Santa. This is just a bit of a foundation, and I want to get it dry really quick so I can show you how I do Santa beards with a chalk pencil. And this is a real great time saver for those of you who are painting for sale, or for those of you that might need some last minute gifts.
You make it look so easy, Judy.
Well, it's a matter of when I do this, I move my body. I move my whole hand with it. Now, I need to get this dry fast, so I'm going to mute myself real quick so you don't have to listen to my hairdryer, and Audrey can talk.
Oh, there she goes. I think she's muted herself. I'm sure most of you are amazed as well with the look that she's coming with. I love to do Santas, and I never would have thought to use a chalk pencil. And a couple of you out there are probably thinking the same thing. A chalk pencil to get all that detail and all that goodness in there for sure, Judy.
Well,
also, Donna, just quickly, Donna, yes, this is being recorded. Donna Hartline was one of us being recorded that she can watch it again on Facebook, and it also will be up on our YouTube channel, which is Pin Canada, so they can see it over and over again.
Good enough. Glad I got my nails manicured at long last. They're going to watch it over and over. Okay. I've just put a real thin wash of white in. I've blown it dry. And sometimes I might take a favorite liner brush and I might make a few lines. Oh, when I try to work fast and not load my brush properly, I have a little dragging of the paint. Okay, now I'm just going to take a chalk pencil and show you other lines I can make. I can just fill this full of wonderful lines. Some cross over, some don't. I'm pulling them. I generally always put a little fleshy area under Santa's chin because I think it looks a little bit more natural, and I like to pull the hair out from that.
Also, Liz Garcia. Hello, Liz Garcia.
Hi, Liz.
Garcia. She's wondering if it is the chalk pencil a dry chalk or is it with wax in it?
No, no wax. Wax is going to cause your paint or anything to repel. These are, it's General's charcoal white pencil number 558. When I first came up with wanting to do a book of technique with this, I went into our local art store and I bought every single white pencil I could find. And that included colored pencils, anything that they had. And the General's is what worked the best because it's true chalk. I can take it off with water, and I don't have any residue. I find when you use colored pencils, you might have trouble with the wax that's in them. So stick with this one. And everyone always asks, what type of pencil sharpener do you use? I love this X-Acto vacuum mount pencil sharpener. I haven't found any electric models to be as good as this one was. I think I paid $5 for it. So it's probably the best one out there. And as you can see, it's got lots of different sizes. And I love it because I can take it anywhere I want to. And I can just attach it to a top of a table temporarily with that vacuum mount. And then I can move it down the road.
And where would you purchase something like that?
Well, believe it or not, several years ago, Dollarama here in Canada had them. But now you can find them online. You can look for any, lots of craft stores and art stores carry them, but you can also get it on Amazon. Okay, I did a bunch of little streaks in the beard here, and I'm going to go back to my foam detailer, and I soften those. And you can see it gives a different look. I like to use a combination of chalk marks as well as liner brush marks. And really, once you've got these softened in, you really can't tell that they're not fine liner work. Okay, let's get a few more over here. I'm going to take the time to just stop and soften this next to the painted line that I just did. And there's really not a lot of difference in look, is there? So there's lots of different things that you can do with that chalk pencil and many ways to use it. I can pull hair out of Santa's hat. Now, I might want to go ahead and actually paint those lines, but that chalk pencil is a tool for me to decide, do I want those there or not? And I can always remove them.
Such a great idea. I actually have 2 or 3 canvases that I've painted over the years with Santas. And I noticed this Christmas or last Christmas that one of them I have not done the hair like by the bang area. So I keep thinking, oh my goodness, so I am going to do this. I'm going to get them out.
It's a good way, a really good way to finish things up. And again, a good way for you to test. If you want to have paint there, you can put paint there. Or you can use a combination of painted and chalked lines. Now, sometimes I get a little bit of a halo. I'm getting that here. I think you can I can just barely see it on my monitor, but I love that on the hair because it makes it look nice and wispy. The other thing I've been known to do is, gee, maybe I want to have these little spots of shine or highlight on Santa's face a little bit brighter. I just hit it with the chalk, soften it with a fingertip, put a little on his lip. I can go right into his beard, or his mustache, and add more line work there. And when you do find the sets of chalk pencils, I've got a set of them. I think I paid around $20 or $30 for them at Michael's here in Canada. The US has carried them, but I'm not sure if they're in the stores right now because of the pandemic. I think a lot of things are just still being processed and brought in. And last, I wanted to show you that if I want to do an edge, I can use a straight edge. Well, let's try the other side. That makes more sense. Okay, it would help if I put the ruler down properly. Okay, I'm literally just going to eyeball that that's straight. I'm going to use my chalk pencil to make that nice border. And there are so many things you can do with a border. I can double it up.
A couple questions. Brenda Sawyer is asking, what is the name of that dynasty brush again that you use to soften the chalk?
Okay, I'll show you. The dynasty brushes are, okay, I've got one sitting in the water. I better pull it out. The one I use to soften is the small foam, detailer foam. It's IPC. IPC stands for ink, pastel, and chalk. Initially, when Veronica Tui gave me some of these brushes, she said, you know, is there anything we could come up with, or that I could come up with, to use these in the decorative painting market? Because they were just out and nobody was using them. And it just was perfect timing because I was just working on my chalk things at the time in my chalk book. So I love the small detailer foam. There are 3 different sizes of the medium point blend. Again, this is the IPC 1. And let's see, there's another one. This is the IPC medium soft flat top. And that would be a good brush that you could also use if you did chalk on the brim of a hat. Bounce it up and down. There is a fan brush that I have here, the medium angle fan cut. I use this more in regular painting than I do in chalk work. And we also have a large oval foam, and it's almost like a cosmetic brush too, but it's good for patting as well. So there are lots of fun brushes in this line, as well as I'm almost embarrassed to show this one, but I've used it so much. It's a large soft oval, and you can see I have a few hairs that need to be trimmed out of that, but this works really well as a mop. I really use the brush I probably use the most of the IPC line is the large flat blend. And then you can see this is well used. This is what I use to apply extender with. And you can see this brush has got a really fat belly. Don't we all understand what that's about after the COVID? We all ate too much and got little tummies, little fat bellies. Well, this has an extremely flat belly, and I love it for extender because extender is one of those things very few people know how much is the right amount to use. So when I teach, I'd have you dip your this brush into your container of extender, and I pull it on the side. Then I take it to a paper towel. I blot one side and then the other. Notice I didn't pinch wipe. I just laid the brush on. Then when I touch the brush between my fingers, see my finger just has a little bit of a sheen to it. That's the perfect amount then to put onto my piece. Most of the time people use too much. If you come up with something that looks like that on your finger, way too much, your piece will never dry. So you need to blot it off. So that's a tip with the large flat blend brushes. And this one is, I've had this, I think this is the very first one I got. It's starting to get in tough shape. It's been rode hard, painted hard, and put away dirty, but I like it. It shows that I'm a busy artist. So
Wonderful,
anyway,
wonderful.
This is the start of something, and when I finish it, I will put it up online for all of you to see. some things that I also do, if I want a nice white dot, I'll show you how you should do it, and then I'll tell you how I do it. I dip my paper towel into some water, and I'm just going to touch the end of my chalk pencil on that, and I'm going to take it to my surface, and I can get a really strong white dot. Now, the best white dots come when you touch your pencil to your tongue. And that's what I did right now. And I get a perfect, strong little white dot. And that I did not invent. Kathy Hansen of General Pencil Company gave me that hint, and it's wonderful. I can really get a nice, strong dot. And just with that wet pencil, I'm getting a much stronger look. And see, I'm doing descending dots at the end of my line. It just makes it more interesting. And if I want to, I can close off the end of this line, and I can add checks. I can just add lines. Whatever you can imagine, you can do with a chalk pencil.
That's perfect. So much you can do. I'm going to have to get out. I have a couple of those chalk pencils. I'm definitely going to have to get them out.
They're fun to play with. And if you don't like what you're doing, you wipe it off and start over again.
Maybe for some of those that joined us late, you can just tell them, how would you seal this? Because I'm sure some of them are thinking, okay, it's chalk.
Yes.
Where's it going to go? How is it going to stay there?
It's chalk, and it's going to just disappear if you get water or something on it. So you'll want to use a product called Krylon's Workable Fixative. This is what many colored pencil artists use to keep their work from smudging. And it's workable fixative because you can use it over and over and over. I prefer this to Krylon Matte because Krylon Matte, if you spray your piece with Krylon Matte, it will permanently fix it. But many times you can't go on top of it and put a second coat on. It will repel paint, or it might repel the chalk. Now, let's pretend I have sprayed this. I've gone outside, sprayed it about 8 inches away, let it dry. And you want to always spray. This is, it's chemical, so you want to wear a mask. You want to, and I know you all have masks, so now there's no excuse. So go outside, wear that mask. Don't spray near a car, spray somewhere in a backyard. And that will permanently fix the chalk to your piece. But remember, this will permanently fix anything else on your piece. So if you have a tracing line showing that you don't want, if you spray it, it's there for all eternity. So make sure your piece is really good and clean. Then, if you want your chalk to be stronger, after I have affixed this, I can go back and give a second coat of chalk right on top, and it'll give me a stronger white. We'll just pretend mine has been done. But even here, you can see, and I should have my paper towel under my hand. Let me hold my hand back a little bit. But you can see that makes it even stronger. I want to pull one of my pieces off the board and back so that you can see it. This is done with chalk. This is one of my most popular Santas. 'Tis the season to be jolly. He is really a elfin little face. And I always delight in telling everybody that I applied, this was one of my submissions to teach at World of Color, one of the first years, and they turned it down. It's probably made my book a bestseller because it has been such a wonderfully popular piece. Now, look at this beard. I've let that background show through. I've used painted lines. I've used chalk lines. And then I've gone in and I've done lots of washes of color on top to give that ethereal look. And I've added little stars. Little stars just make him twinkle and shine so much more. This lettering, I have a stencil out so that you can stencil. And you simply lay a stencil on top, trace around the inside of the stencil, fill it in, and you're good to go. Let's see, is there anything else I should show you? I should show you one other piece.
And also let us know where they can find some of these on your website, perhaps, or where can they find some of the different patterns?
Well, I don't have a website any longer because a few years ago I thought I was going to retire. So down the website came, and then COVID hit. And I started teaching on Zoom. Well, I really don't want to open up a website, but if you're looking for patterns, my book, Chalk It Up, is available on Viking publications, not publications, Viking Woodcrafts. I believe that it's still being carried by several of the distributors like Painter's Paradise. I'm not sure if Hofcraft has it or not. I know Country Bear had it. Stockade here in Canada had it for a while. Here's another piece that was from my book, Chalk It Up. This is all done with chalking, and it's kind of fun to see it on a colored background. And this is rolled canvas. You can see I've done the little design on Santa's hat with that. And I did a little bit of the fur coming out here at the outside edge, and the stripes on the ribbon were all done, as well as all the stars and the edge in the background. Now you could do the little, his little strands of hair with acrylic paint. You could also do them with chalk. This one I did with acrylic paint. But this was one of the first mixed media pieces I did. And I even did the designs on all the little Christmas ornaments done with a chalk pencil. Fast and easy.
Beautiful, beautiful. I think we've almost run out of time, Judy. We could just keep going forever here.
Can I show one last piece? This doesn't have any chalk, but this is coming up. This is one of my Santas that I'm teaching for Artful Webinars. I'll be teaching it on July 17th, a week from this coming Saturday. It's a 6-hour class. There's a little bit of homework to do, not a lot. But if you are interested, go to my Facebook page, Judy Westegaard-Jenkins. You can also see it at Judith Westegaard Designs, my business page, and also at the Artful Webinars. So another little Santa coming down the road.
Perfect. That's wonderful. Wow. A lot of information there and just so many great ideas with that chalk pencil.
Yes. And back behind me, the We Believe in Santa Claus, all the piece. Those are both pattern packets that I carry. They're done with chalk pencil. The little fox is a piece I did for Pinceau magazine here in Canada. Let's see, I don't know which way to move. Little Birdie Told Me is a packet, as Autumn Smile up above is from one of my books. And here I'll leave you all with my favorite saying that I sign just about everything with. Life is better when you're painting. And that's all done with chalk lettering. And it is a stencil that I designed for Patty Rawlinson. So
that's beautiful.
Live your life each day this way and you'll feel a whole lot better.
Perfect. Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Judy. This has been amazing.
Well, thank you, Audrey.
A lot of great comments and everybody really enjoying this demonstration. So just wonderful, wonderful.
Good. It's a good thing to do on a rainy, cold July day in Canada. So I'm so happy you all joined me today. If you have any questions, feel free to message me on Facebook or send me an email at jkwestegard@aol.com. And I want to thank Audrey. Thank you so much for having me here today.
Oh,
This
well,
was
it's my
fun.
pleasure. It's my pleasure. So, all right. Take care, Judy.
Thanks. I'm off to eat some chocolate.
There you go. Have a great day.
I will. Thanks.
Yeah,
Bye-bye now.
bye-bye. Oh, that was awesome. Very, very good. Ah, that was, I am just chalk pencil. I never would have thought of it. Honestly, I've been doing this for so many years and I am going to get my chalk pencil out and start doing some of my Christmas pieces early. So thank you, Judy, for showing us so many different techniques and how to use that chalk pencil. And thank everybody for watching today. Also just wanted to mention, for those who haven't heard yet, we will be doing our second online event, our Art Waves West show, which was supposed to be in September in Olds, Alberta. We're not able to do the show yet in person. The college has decided that once the students are back in September, they're not allowing any groups from outside come in. So we had to make the decision and decided that the first event went so well, the London event, that we switched to the online event, that we will now be doing the Art Waves West show. We're changing up the catalog a bit, adding a few new teachers and some new classes. So we're in the process of that right now. It'll be called Art Waves Live Online Fall Show, or Fall Event. And it will be November 3rd to the 7th. 2021. The catalog will be available online the end of August at www.c2cevents.com. And on the top, you'll see there's a bunch of links, and one will be called Art Waves Live Fall Show. And there you'll see the catalog and all the classes. So those that were registered for the West Show, we will be sending them updated confirmations. And those who have not been registered, anybody can register. Anybody and everybody. And we have some great teachers, some great classes, and we're really looking forward to another fantastic event. There's a little bit of everything, so you're definitely going to enjoy it when you see the information. Other than that, we are going to take a little break. I had originally planned on taking the month of July off, so we are going to stick with that since that's the way my guest list has worked out. So our next Audrey Live will be Thursday, August the 5th. And my live guest is Cindy Harrison. And a lot of you know Cindy because she does a lot of the online classes as well. So we're really looking forward to having her on the show with us. So anyway, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and have a great week. Thank you again for watching Audrey Live.